President Trump is taking things on that have not been taken on. And there are some very, very significantly hard truths that are surfacing. Let's start with one of our fellow conservatives or populists, or hopefully Christian constitutional populists. That's how I describe myself. There's a ton of upset that people might pay more for toys for their kids. Shut up. Shut up. Please shut up. And I'll give you the hard truth. If you're not willing to pay more or stop buying stinking garbage from China, that garbage that you don't need, you're never, ever going to be a true populist. You're never, ever going to be America first, ever. You're not. That's a hard truth, but it's a fact. If we can't be a country hard enough to say, hey, you know what, keep the Cabbage Patch Doll kids, keep the stinking video games, keep the flat screen TVs the size of a stinking house. We don't need them. We don't care. We're not going to dry up and blow away and without them. Then we deserve to be addicted to China for the rest of our lives. And we deserve to put ourselves at risk. So conservatives, populists, Christians, shut up about that stuff. Back to president. Another hard truth here is that we know, and we've seen evidence, that the cartels in America have corrupted at least some public officials. And if they've done it once, there's every reason on earth to believe they've done it again. President Trump has been taking on this hard truth as he's been dealing with immigration in a way that other presidents have. There's been far more people deported under other presidents, but there's never been this series of unconstitutional injunctions to stop this. It's only happened to President Trump. And President Trump's team is doing a smart thing. They are showing some of the hard truths so people can be more protected from the feel-good lies. This is a Michigan mom at President Trump's rally this week.
From Warren, what made you want to come out here today?
In 2017, I lost my son, Gary, to poisoning overdose. So President Trump is the first president that really, really cares about the lives that are lost, is closing the borders, stopping from coming in. Actually, the that my son got hold of was from China. So closing the borders, the tariffs are very, very important to me. And he just came in so strong in these first 100 days and just knocking everything out of the park. And as the mom of an angel, I just wanted to thank him from the bottom of my heart.
Since we're speaking about hard truths, President Trump has issued a series of executive orders, and he's gotten a lot done. He's caused a lot of self-deportations. And in fact, there's no structural change. Here's the hard truth. Things done by executive order can be undone by executive order. Here's a hard truth. The Republicans in Congress are not backing the president. Oh, I know there's the sound and the fury, and I know President Trump has been very complimentary to John Thune and to Speaker Johnson. But while there are judges who take it upon themselves to say that warrantless arrests are illegal, but only in the case of deportations or illegal immigrants, they're not backing him. That judge should have her district defunded. And to say that border control officers can't arrest without a warrant, does that mean that state patrols can't? Because I'm here to tell you, if you get pulled over by a state patrol officer and you appear drunk, they have probable cause in any state in the nation to arrest you for drunk driving. No warrant. If you watch someone enter our country at a non-port of entry, you have watched a crime. You have probable cause to arrest that person without a warrant. It's called probable cause. So while this is allowed to go on, and the Republicans get to enjoy, oh, look, President Trump, we're moving the needle. The Republican Party's making strong gains. No, you're making temporary gains. It can be undone if, God forbid, there is another Biden type elected. And the Biden types are lurking. Another hard truth is this. The Democrats know what they're doing on this emotional game. They have no leader. The idea of AOC as leader is laughable, because no one's clamoring for AOC. They're trying to pretend that people are clamoring for Kamala Harris. They're literally writing articles in so-called mainstream publications like The Hill saying there is a clamoring for a return of Kamala Harris, who gave this speech and cackled and laughed her way through it. We had the admission from Tim Walz, who agrees with me. I said that the reason that Tim Walz was on that ticket was that he was a white dude, and because they've been saying that white people are awful, and hey, here's a white dude. And so he said he can speak code to white guys and he can talk to them about working on trucks. He still pretends he works on trucks with his hands perfectly clean. Point of fact is this: the other part of that equation was he's stupid and he is ungifted at anything. I don't know how he got into office. They had to have him at that level because of who Kamala Harris is, and that's a hard truth rather than the feel-good lie. But a hard truth for Republicans is there's another summer of love coming. A hard truth for Republicans is they're building up rage. A hard truth for Republicans is if you don't back the president, and I mean structurally, encoding his executive orders into law, then we're going to remember that you chose not to do that. We're going to remember that, because when I say the new summer of love is coming, I'll prove that in a point-by-point, counterpoint comparison between the Democrats' approach to this and the Republicans. And you choose. Do you want the hard truth of what the Democrats are planning, or the feel-good, lackadaisical, aw shucks lies of Speaker Mike Johnson? I'll compare that in a second. I choose hard truths. Some of the hard truths I've learned over time are this: that what I was brought up to believe about the American healthcare system is not true any longer. Doctors have been made into pill pushers and form fillers. And yes, there are still some good doctors. I'm on the board of a nonprofit board of a medical center. And I think our doctors are very, very good doctors who do not push pills by design, or I couldn't possibly be there. I also know this: when it comes to conditions I'll tell you that can be addressed by Renew.Healthcare in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, the safest, in my judgment, most beautiful part of Mexico, I'll tell my closest friends. There are 2 friends from my life group, my church group, who are in contact with Renew and probably going to go there for treatment. I see these people every week. We do life together. We share intimate details about our lives together. And if I will tell them with full confidence that the back problem you're having that is making it so painful for you can probably be addressed by Renew, the knee problems, or even a diaphragm problem, well, then in that case, why would I not share that with this audience? It's Renew, RENUE.Healthcare. If you're being told it's surgery or pills, or in the case of bad arthritis, there's nothing that can be done, please go to Renew, RENUE.Healthcare. Tell them you're part of the Todd Herman Show family. This is one of the most corrupt families in politics, or a member thereof. It's J.B. Pritzker from Chicago. So just a quick review. The Pritzkers used to have their money in hotels. They inherited their money. And then they started to move their money and investments out of hotels and into pharmaceutical and medical devices. This happened about the time that J.B. Pritzker's brother, who is a man who pretends to be a woman, was at the Human Rights Campaign. And the Human Rights Campaign is a well-funded, dark money group, a purely satanic group, in my opinion, that went around the world and very secretly and smartly and wisely and broadly started conning state governments and other countries into convincing kids they were born in the wrong body. And all of a sudden, they shifted their investments to medical devices and pharmaceuticals. Gosh, I wonder why. J.B. Pritzker is calling for something on the Democrat side, and then we'll compare this to Speaker Mike Johnson. This is Pritzker.
Never before in my life have I called for mass protests, for mobilization, for disruption, but I am now. These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. They have to understand that we will fight their cruelty with every megaphone and microphone that we have. We must castigate them on the soapbox and then punish them at the ballot box.
In Chicago, in Illinois, we have the city of Chicago, one of the top places where young black men are unalived by other young black men every single weekend. And he speaks of cruelty. In Illinois, we have a city called Chicago, where young black men aren't only unaliving one another, they have a state of hopelessness because they've been told their whole lives that without great, great men like J.B. Pritzker and great, great women like Hillary Clinton, they've no hope. And he speaks of cruelty. And they're building up to a summer of rage. They're building up to midterms driven by rage. That's the hard truth. They're going to do this again. They're just waiting to find their George Floyd, which they thought was going to be in the person of an illegal immigrant. That didn't work out. Let's compare that to Speaker Mike Johnson explaining that they're just not really going to be able to get around to moving President Trump's, what he calls big, beautiful bill through Congress until, whenever.
A few weeks is going to be critical. We're working on the big, beautiful bill, the reconciliation bill. A lot of work's gone into this already. You know, we've been working on it for over a year, and now is game time. The big developments will be coming together. We're excited about that. I think it's going to be a great piece of legislation. It's going to solve a lot of problems. It's going to be turbo fuel, a turbo boost for the economy, and we're looking forward to getting that done.
Yeah, it's going to be done, by the way, on Independence Day, several months from now. So Democrats demanding rage. And the hard truth is they're getting it. It may not result in a midterm change, but Mike Johnson is waiting until July to encode anything that President Trump has done or pushed or advocated for into law. July? Does anyone see a sense of urgency issue here? I promise you, and this is a hard truth, I promise you, there are shiny-shoed professional Republicans in Washington, D.C. who are utterly thrilled to have rogue judges stopping President Trump's immigration policies. They are thrilled to see that it's only executive orders because they guarantee they're whispering in the ears of their big donors, don't worry, we can put it all back together just like it was, like you loved it. Because these are only executive orders. Meanwhile, they get to pretend to back President Trump's agenda. So choose hard truths or feel-good lies.